The deaths of 71 people in Grenfell Tower have been confirmed by the authorities, and police have said they do not expect to find any more bodies. Scotland Yard named 39 of those who died, and the identities of another 32 people were confirmed when their inquests were opened and adjourned at Westminster Coroner's Court. The following people have been confirmed as having died: mother and daughter Victoria King, 71, and Alexandra Atala, 40. Their relatives said, "We were devastated to hear of our sister, Vicky's, fate, and that of her daughter, Alexandra, in the Grenfell Tower tragedy." Victoria King: "Some comfort can come from the knowledge that she and Alexandra were devoted to one another and spent so many mutually supportive years together. They died at each other's side and now they can rest together in peace. We will remember them always." Legaamore, 78, relatives said living in London was a dream for the Filipina, who endured the estrangement from her family to achieve it. But the dream turned into a nightmare on that fateful night. In a statement released via Scotland Yard, they said, "The jolly, bubbly person, the lady who loves to dance and who laughed her heart out, succumbed to a fire which turned her laughter into silence. Moore married the love of her life, Jim Moore, and had a new family, acquired new friends, and built a new life in London. By the time of the fire, she was living alone in Grenfell Tower, Jim having died several years ago." Her closest friend, Nonita Bungay, said, "Ligaya was a jolly and energetic person. She was like my mother and was my best friend. We always spent our time together and she will be greatly missed." Her family thanked friends in London, as well as the local authorities, for helping endure the pain in the months they spent waiting for her body to be identified. Rania Ibrahim, 31, and her two daughters Fathia Hassan, 4, and Hania Hassan, 3. The deaths of all three members of the family were confirmed when their inquests were opened in central London. Ibrahim and her daughters were last heard from when she uploaded a video from inside the tower block. Her husband was abroad at the time of the fire. Husband and wife Abdulaziz, 52, and Fauzia El-Wahabi, 42, and their three children Yasin, 20, Norhuda, 16, and May, 8. Relatives described May as a calm and friendly young boy who loved his family very much. He was loved by staff and pupils at his school, who held a beautiful memorial and made a plaque in memory of him. His cousin, Senate Jones, added, "You made me laugh and smile every day." Norhuda El-Wahabi Yasin was described as a lovable, bubbly and caring young man by relatives. They said, "He would lend his hand to anyone who asked for help. He was loved by so many and his contagious smile will always be etched on our minds and hearts." The family added, "Norhuda was a lovable, smart and kind person. She had a lot of potential and that can be recognized in her recent GCSE exam results. We are proud of her and will continue on remembering her and all our family and friends who have died in this tragedy." Amayataku Amitan Mo Taku parents Amal Ahmedin, 34, and Muhammad Nur Taku, 44, their daughter Amayataku Amitan, 3, and Amal's cousin Amna Mahmood Idris, 27. Relatives said, "This has been a very distressing time for us as a family, but we are relieved that Amal, Amaya and Amna have been identified following the tragic fire. They will now be laid to rest. We would like to thank everyone who has helped us since the fire." Muhammad Nur, known as Mo, and his wife and daughter were thought to have been visiting Amna in the tower. Fathia Ahmed, 71, and her two children, Abu Farz Ibrahim, 39, and Isra Ibrahim, 33. Abu Farz was reported to have been visiting his mother and sister when the fire broke out. The coroner confirmed the deaths of all three at their inquests. Nadia Choker, 33, Bassam Choker, and their three children, Mierna, 13, Fatima, 10, and Zainab, 3, and their grandmother Surya, 6 members of the same family, who lived on the 22nd floor, and were all confirmed as having died in the fire by a coroner at inquest. Nura Jamal Firdaz Hashim Kadir, 44, Nura Jamal, 35, and their three children, Jacob Hashim, 6, Firdaz Hashim, 12, and Yahya Hashim, 13. Relatives described Hashim Kadir as intelligent, smart, hardworking, hilarious and caring, while his wife, Nura, was a grateful person who appreciated even the smallest things in life, her family said. Their eldest son, Yahya, was described as a kind, polite, loving, generous, thankful and pure-hearted boy, and relatives said his younger sister Firdaz was the most intelligent, wise and eloquent girl they ever knew. The family's youngest member, Jacob Hashim, was described to his family by school friends as a funny, hilarious honey with a big smile, a great boy and a kind friend. Husna Begum, 22, Rabia Begum, 64, Mohammed Hanif, 26, Mohammed Hamid, 27, and Kamrumia, 79. 5 members of a single family. Inquests heard that they had been identified by dental records and DNA. The family's flat was on the 17th floor and their bodies were found in or near it. Gary Mounders, 57, his body was recovered from the 23rd floor. He was believed to have been with his friend Deborah Lamprell, who also died in the blaze, when the fire broke out. Mounders died from injuries consistent with the effects of fire, an inquest heard. Burke T. Halftom and her son Burke T. Halftom, 29, and her son Burke, 12. Their family said Burke T. was a generous, caring, loving mother, partner, sister, auntie and friend, and she will be missed by us all forever. Her son Burke was described as a loving, pure-hearted boy, wise beyond his years and known for his politeness, kind heart and his love for his family and friends. Relatives said, Burke T. and Burke left an everlasting legacy of lovely memories and their contagious laughter and charisma will live in our hearts forever. We are deeply hurt and heartbroken. Our angels were taken from us so cruelly, so young. We will not rest until justice is served. Raymond Bernard, also known as Moses, 63, his relatives said he was gone but not forgotten. In a statement released via the police, they added, "You are so dearly loved by us all and will sadly be missed by many. May you rest in eternal peace, with love always." Dennis Murphy, 56, his family said the pain, loss and sorrow we feel is indescribable and we have been left devastated with a gaping hole in our hearts that can never be filled following the identification of his body 10 weeks after the fire. To us he was an inspiration and an amazing, selfless, caring person and we feel lucky and blessed that he was part of our family, and his warmth and love will stay with us forever. What really matters to us is what he stood for: family, friends, community, loyalty and love, and our lives will never be the same without him. Hesham Rehman, 57, he was said to have last made contact with his family at about 3 a.m. when he told them he could smell smoke. It was reported that Hesham had diabetes, making it difficult for him to walk downstairs. In the immediate aftermath of the fire, his sister started a frantic search for him. But his body was found later. His provisional cause of death was given as consistent with the effects of fire. Mariam El-Ghwari, 64, and her daughter Mariam, 27, a long-term friend of Mariam, shared an appeal to find her soon after the fire. Esla was found on the 23rd floor and was identified by her dental records, an inquest heard. Marjorie Vital, 68, and her son Ernie, 50. Ernie was described by relatives as a creative individual, who was a proud, humble, mature and independent man. They said, he will be remembered as a kind, sensitive and caring person with a warm-hearted smile. Marjorie was a beautiful, joyful, independent, intelligent, kind-hearted, sensitive individual, who dedicated her life to her children, her family said. She had worked in the textile industry for many years. Through her creativity and joy of life she was an inspiration to many of us, relatives added. Sakina Efrage, 68, and her sister Fatima, 65, they were on the 16th floor of the tower and their deaths were confirmed more than 2 months later. Deborah Lamprell, 45, her mother described her as a wonderful, precious daughter, always smiling and helping others. She said, Debbie will be missed by her mum and all who had the privilege to meet her. Zain Abdeen, 32, and her son, Jeremiah, 2, her parents, Zainu and Maria Dean, said, it is with great sadness that we can confirm we have been notified by the police that our daughter Zain Abdeen died in the tragic Grenfell Tower fire. Friends have described her as a beautiful, loving lady. She was found with the body of Jeremiah on the 14th floor. Jessica Urbano Ramirez, 12, her parents said they felt totally crushed at the news of her death. Our little girl was loving, kind-hearted and caring. She brought joy to everyone who met her and her laugh was contagious. Jessica will leave a lasting legacy in the hearts of her family and friends and the many, many people who didn't know her personally but have come to know her since that night of the 14th of June. Her light will shine bright and will light our individual paths as we start to move forward into coming to terms with our loss and heartbreak. Joseph Daniels, 69, he reportedly suffered from dementia and, in a state of confusion, could not be persuaded to leave the tower. His remains were recovered from the 16th floor, where he lived, and the cause of his death was also recorded as consistent with the effects of fire. Logan Gomes, one of the disaster's most poignant cases. Logan was stillborn in hospital in the hours after the fire and police have attributed his death to it. Mohammed Al-Haj Ali, 23, the first victim to be identified, the engineering student had fled Syria for the UK 3 years ago. His family called him a very amazing and kind person, adding, he gave love to everyone. He came to the UK because he had ambitions and aims for his life and for his family. Cottage SA Mary Mundy, 52, and her daughter Cottage SA, 24. The latter was an artist whose work is being exhibited at the Venice Biennale and whose career seemed about to take off. She shared a 20-floor flat with her mother, Mary Mundy, who was described as a wonderful sister and an incredible aunt by relatives. On behalf of the family, Mundy's sister Betty Jackson said, "Your heart was pure. Your soul was one of a kind. You will be missed for a lifetime. You will remain forever in our hearts." Anthony Disson, 65, known as Tony, he was described by relatives as a real family man. They added, his boys were his life. He was a loving husband and a owning a million dad. He had 4 sons and 5 grandchildren, with the 6th due in September, and 3 great-grandchildren. Khadija Khaloufi, 52, her husband, Saba Abdullah, said they had been separated as they tried to escape the building, and police later told him her body had been found on the grass outside. "She was my other half. She was my partner," he told Mail Online. "She was everything." Sheila, 84, a poet, artist and philosopher, Sheila gave her many friends much love and inspiration, her family said. They added that she was a very active and well-respected member of the local community, who left behind 2 sons, 6 grandchildren and 3 great-grandchildren. She was previously known as Sheila Smith. Isaac Palos, 5, a beloved son, who went missing as he and his family tried to escape the fire. His relatives said, "We will all miss our kind, energetic, generous little boy. He was such a good boy who was loved by his friends and family. We will miss him forever, but we know God is looking after him now and that he is safe in heaven." Abdaslam Sebar, 77, named among those who died by police. The inquest heard that he had been found in a flat on the 11th floor and was identified by his DNA. Farah Hamdan Omar Belkadi, 32, Farah Hamdan, 31, Malik Belkadi, 8, and Lena Belkadi, 6 months. 4 of the 5 members of a single family that lived on the 20th floor died in the fire. 6-year-old Tasman was later found alive in hospital. Lena was found in her mother's arms, Westminster Coroner's Court was told. Gloria Trevisan and Marco Gottardi. Gloria Trevisan, 26, and Marco Gottardi, 27, an Italian couple who moved to London together. Trevisan was an architecture graduate who completed her master's degree in architecture at the University of Venice last October and had come to London to find work, said her family's lawyer, Maria Cristina Sandrin. Police confirmed Gottardi's death after his father told La Nuova Venezia that his body had been found next to that of his partner. Ali Yawar Jafari, 82, he was loved and will be greatly missed by his family and the wider community, relatives said. Jafari is survived by his wife, children and grandchildren. He was taken from the building by firefighters but pronounced dead at the scene. An inquest into his death heard. One of the oldest victims of the fire, he lived on the 10th floor with his wife and daughter, with whom he was believed to have lost contact as they tried to escape. Mohammed Nada, 57, the coroner lauded the dignity of the relatives of Nada who attended the opening of his inquest. He is understood to have stayed behind because he was injured, while his wife was carried all the way down from the top floor to relative safety by their son. Vincent Chegina, 60, the coroner offered sincere condolences at the inquest into his death, which heard that Chegina was found on the 17th floor of the tower and identified by his DNA. The provisional cause of death was given as consistent with the effects of fire. Hamid Khani, 61, according to his family in Iran, he had no relatives in the UK. His relatives said, Hamid will always be remembered for his wit, compassion and devotion to his family and friends. No words can express our sorrow for his loss and the way he left us. He will always be part of our lives and his memory will live on. Stephen Power, 63, the father of 5, was reportedly reluctant to leave his 2 bull terriers and told relatives, I'm staying here with my dogs.